today. Hey, Margaret.
Hey, David. How are ya?
I'm good. So before we got on the stream here, Margaret and I, this is the 1 year anniversary of Margaret's father's passing. And
I
she's
wrote a
feeling a little
long,
bit. Go ahead.
I wrote a long post about it, which is on LinkedIn. If anybody is on a parallel journey of just trying to integrate the grief and memory of somebody with whom you were in a complicated relationship or a confusing relationship. So,
Yeah.
and I missed my dad today, so I'm a little raw, despite
Yeah.
all of it, because of all of it. Who knows? But yeah.
Well, I want to acknowledge you for your willingness to um, be here. A willingness is a way of being, just for the audience, right? And your willingness, despite your grief.
Thanks, David. And I'd like to acknowledge you for just you're being game. You've got some game today, like of fun and and like let's go live. Let's not overthink it. Like let's just do this. Let's just get out and have this interesting conversation. So I appreciate you enrolling. Your enthusiasm has enrolled me, and I appreciate that about you.
I can see, I appreciate that acknowledgement, and I can see it. I'm getting a little teary just realizing I was able to bring you some brightness today. So that makes me feel really good. Yeah. So we were talking about legacy.
To the power of acknowledgments, right?
That's it. Yeah, that brings us to the power of acknowledging people, which we're going to talk about a little bit more towards the end of the stream here. But we thought we might start with legacy since, we're talking about the passing of your father. And I don't know that my father or mother spent much time thinking about, their legacy and what their epitaph might say. And so we thought, I recently was involved with a group of men who were exploring this topic, and it prompted me to write down a few bullet points of how I would want to be remembered, and at least with 2/3 of my life in the rear view mirror, more than 2/3 of my life in this body on the face of the earth in my rear view mirror, there are a few things that I'm proud to say I've had an impact on, and we'll talk about that. And so that's the topic, is really just to invite you to like an inquiry to think about what your epitaph might say. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Margaret, and see where you want to go with it.
Yeah, well, I just want to say first, something that really stood out for me, David, was, as you were sharing with me, like sharing some of these qualities, how hard it is for other people, the people who hear them sometimes, to give themselves permission to either to claim these things about themselves, to be able to say, like, I was that, I worked to be that, and I was that. Or even if they aren't able to feel proud of themselves for what they have done, even to see this as an aspirational exercise. Like, if you could tell us what you really want to be remembered for, like, what would that be? And you kind of had this experience of seeing how hard that can be for people.
Yep. This group I was with was really struggling. It's a group of men, and I've seen this elsewhere. I saw this in my own life. So I would say probably 10 years ago, I would have been reluctant to write down some of the things I'll share here, and no less share them in an intimate setting. And here we go now, out on the internet. It's gonna live out there. It's just a little bit of anxiousness about that, but it's the inner critic. Something that Margaret and I do a lot of work with clients on. Would have you believe that, or your stickler, another way we sabotage ourselves, perfectionist, would have you believe that, there are no good qualities, that you have no good qualities, that you're ever striving. That would be the hyperachiever also, that you're ever striving to perfect yourself. And the inner critic would tell you that you're not those things.
Right.
Okay?
And from, the way these inner critics work from a historic point of view, if acknowledgement was something that wasn't big in your family and you
Yes.
tried to acknowledge yourself, like pretty much across the board, I don't just mean you, David, but most people who tried to be proud of themselves in families that didn't value that, were seen as bragging or too big for their britches, too big for the space, right? Like it just, it doesn't go well. And so then I think that judge strategically is like, okay, that didn't go well, so I'm going to stop doing it.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Even the reception I got today I felt not, it landed kind of flat, which was a signal to me because of the training we have, Margaret. I had to sit with that for a while, because I shared early, we would get together in this group for like an hour, and I shared early on, like trying to inspire, but it landed like a lead balloon. And I was really, man, my inner critic was all over me for that.
Yeah.
But I recovered. I did recover later in the hour and was able to share about this inner critic and how it will even prevent us from acknowledging the good qualities that we bring into the world. Yeah.
And sometimes people's silence is, because it was evocative for them and because they don't know how to respond, or, something was touched in them that is unfamiliar, uncomfortable, right? And they don't know how to process that. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, you can read the flat reception in a lot of different ways, right? Like you didn't get booed off stage, but either way.
I didn't get kicked out of the room anyway.
Same thing.
Yeah. So,
well, can you share?
Yeah. So we're combining a couple of topics here, just to transparency. What we're doing is an exercise that Margaret and I train leaders in how to do, is just to acknowledge who you are, like a way you be, and how others are, how they occur to you, and the way they be. Yeah. So this is what we call an acknowledgement. Like I acknowledge Margaret for her willingness. Willingness is a way of being. Yeah. So that's one tool we're talking, leadership context that we're talking about here, that we do in our coaching, when we train leaders how to be more coach-like in their in the way they be.
Well, and I think it has, when we acknowledge other people, it has this beautiful double win, because first of all, if you say something about another person that's resonant, right, they brighten a little bit, right? They feel seen. It's like something they get to take with them. And the second piece is it helps train us to look for what we like about other people, which is a much nicer space to be in than thinking all the time about what we don't like about people.
That's true. It also, what I learned when so again, 10 plus years ago, I didn't have the skills to do the acknowledgement, and it was really uncomfortable for me practicing this in the room with people, and I'm still practicing and gotten much better at it. But by receiving, here's the other thing, by receiving an acknowledgement, you actually learn how to acknowledge somebody else. So, yeah. And again, this is not about and I'm going to come back around to epitaph here in a moment. This is not about prideful bragging. It's not what it is, although some people will not say things about themselves because they fear that it might be pride. And so it's not that. It's really just about seeing and being seen and receiving. Yeah,
Right.
receiving.
That's important. So an example of not receiving an acknowledgement, right, would be, because I hear this all the time. I mean, David, you told me I got a new sweater, everybody, and David liked it, which I love. But I'm just going to give an example. If you had said like, oh, Margaret, that I love that sweater. You look so playful in that. And me not receiving it might have looked like, oh, I got it on sale.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's just,
or no, or oh, this is nothing.
Oh, this old thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there's a way that it's uncomfortable for many of us, including for me. It was uncomfortable for me to be seen because there's something about armoring up. Like we don't want to be seen. Yeah. But you know what? Also related to this idea of what's going to be written on your tombstone, or what you would, or your epitaph, or what you would like to believe will be, or would want to have written. It's tied back to an exercise again that I did during our coach training, Margaret, which is a values exercises that we do with some clients, like really digging for values, like what do you value, what's important to you. And if you think about, if you're going to write your own epitaph, which is to say, if I die today, what would people say? It might reflect some of the values that you actually are embodying right now. Yeah. So should we give it a go? I know you haven't had much time to think about this.
I'm literally jotting things down on the back.
Oh, you are. And look at this. And we're working on the same size piece of paper today. It's just like not planned, guys. Yeah. This is like an exercise you can do. Like I wrote down David's epitaph. Like if I die tomorrow, like Margaret, if I die tomorrow, here's what you can say about me on LinkedIn, okay? All right. And you know me pretty well. So you can pressure test these things and think if I'm smoking crack here or not, all right? See, even there, I'm a bit reluctant.
I know. Did you hear? I'm just going to go ahead and like say, hey.
It's true. It is true. It's true. All right. And I'll say a little bit more about this when I'm done. So, David, this is you speaking about me, Margaret.
Okay.
David was a devoted son, loving and faithful husband, supportive father, forgiving brother, loyal friend, and caring colleague.
Yeah, I think those are beautiful. And what I love about all of them is that they're relational and going to your values. People, you value your family, you value your wife and your daughters and your friends, and it's that all resonates, right? It all makes sense, and it all feels true to me. Geez, I'm sorry that you're having trouble saying it out loud, or you think you're smoking crack, but I guess that's the point of this.
I'm comfortable saying this with you because you know me. And this is
all your closest friends on LinkedIn here.
Now they know. Well, and this is the discomfort with being seen, right? Yeah. And then actually sharing how I see myself and how I would want to be acknowledged for the impact that I've had. Now, I will say, and I did say to Margaret prior to getting on here that, this has been for the first 30 years of my life, I couldn't say any of these things about myself. Just would not. I probably couldn't have even done this exercise. I might have said something about my profession or something about mountain climbing or
that you
whatever.
provided, or that you worked really
Provider.
hard,
Yeah, I
or
worked hard, right?
yeah,
Yeah, and
that you
I
had summited mountains. Yeah, it would be
exactly
more about accomplishments.
more about accomplishments. And now that I'm sort of in the second, third, it took me 30 years to actually work on these qualities. These just didn't happen. This was very intentional by me, I have to say. And that is the gift of doing this kind of exercise, because even if you don't, you aspire, some of these things can be aspirational. Even if you do this exercise of writing your own tombstone, like you could aspire to it and you can work on some of these are just like character qualities of character that I have actually cultivated over 30 years.
Yeah.
The second 30 years of my life. Now I'm kind of in the inquiry. What am I going to do with, like, now that I'm two-thirds of my life is behind me? What the hell am I going to do with what I have left? So I'm still in that inquiry. But how about you, Margaret? Please do share what you've jotted down about.
I will.
Yeah.
And this is, somewhat, I'm going to say this as if aspirational, because that was sort of the spirit that I wrote it. So I would want people to say about me that my written words mattered and had impact, that I valued taking accountability for the things that I did wrong as well as right. I would want my clients to say that I challenged them and that I made them more confident, more themselves, and more brilliant. I would want my children this is going to make me teary, to say that they felt celebrated and delighted in for who they are as humans. And I would want my partner and friends to say that they felt heard, that we had fun journeying together, and that we laughed.
Well, that is heartfelt.
Thank you. It is. See, you can tell. I cry. It's connected.
You got me. You got me going too. So
yeah,
because we're both pretty sensitive. And I would also add that my experience of you, Margaret, is that those are not aspirational; those are actual. Although I'm not one of your children. But certainly the other,
we'll have to ask them.
You'll have to ask them, and actually that's another exercise. A couple of the guys in the room have written letters to their children, and sort of letters of, could be apologies, letters of acknowledgement, acknowledging your children. This is something my wife and I, because we grew up in households where acknowledgement wasn't really present. Our parents just didn't do this kind of work, so we are very conscious about acknowledging our children, not just about their accomplishments, but like who they are in the world. And and for you, I know it's a little bit different story. So maybe you want to share, like, you were acknowledged, but not necessarily the way we're inviting folks to do it here.
Yeah. I mean, I think part of acknowledging somebody, part of the art of real acknowledgement is, it is both something that you see about the person, and it's also something that they want to be seen for. I mean, if you tell somebody that, that they look a certain way, but they would really prefer to be seen for how they think or the impact that they have or their words or that, right? Like, then it's not a great acknowledgement to tell somebody like, oh, you look so pretty, like, so it really is about what is it that
right.
You're seeing, like the you-ness of you, right?
Yeah. I would add that my wife had shared with me that she and her siblings were acknowledged for when they accomplished good grades in school, but they were acknowledged by given money.
Yeah.
And that just didn't land for her, that just wasn't.
I got a new skateboard once. I didn't even skateboard, but I started. But we're getting straight A's on my report card. So.
Yeah. So that's not what we're talking about here. I mean, I know this is hard for some of you. You may have, if you're still with us, then, or if you're still watching on the recording, then perhaps we're striking a chord with you, like that you want to give this a go, and you long for some of this, and that you aspire to be more like this. So here's an invitation. Like, write your epitaph as qualities of being or values that you aspire for, or that you already know that you have, and keep that front and center for a while, because it's so easy to forget.
Yeah. Do we have anything to add here, David?
Yeah, so we've mixed a couple of things here. So that's just an exercise you can take away. Just get I have a little note card.
Right. It has to be on an envelope. Yeah.
or
Right.
a little index card where you could just jot down a few things. And if you want to learn more, by the way, we train leaders on how to do this in an organizational setting.
Yeah.
To actually acknowledge people that work together, not just for a good job. That's nice. That's nice to have, but this is more like, wow, what I noticed is that you put a lot of your heart into that project. Something like that. Or maybe you can give an example. These are just ways that you could start acknowledging people.
Yeah. I love how you were so present when you were speaking to that person in that meeting, and how you just danced with them, and it was brilliant. You were brilliant.
Yeah.
That would be a beautiful acknowledgement. I would think I would like to receive that acknowledgement. So yeah.
So it's a sentence that starts with "you are," or what I notice about you, or what I appreciate about you. That's kind of how it is. We train groups. This is actually part of a coaching essentials course that Margaret and I do, and we bring leadership teams together. This is actually a tool that we would call it. You as a leader, you would become more coach-like if you were to adopt this practice. So we actually have a program, workshop, live, online. You can do it with your team, where you could practice this tool and a whole bunch of others that will make you more humane as a leader.
Yeah. And you can find either of us from our LinkedIn profiles, and we'd love to hear about your needs for your team.
Yeah. All right. That's it for this time. Anything else, Margaret?
No, if anybody, has things that they have learned, please share with us in the comments.
Yeah. Please put your comments in the chat, and Margaret and I will respond. This is going to be posted after the recording here, and Margaret and I will have access to that, and we'll respond to your comments. Reach out to us, private message us if you'd like to explore more of this with your team.